Camden, Salvation, Alpha, runway 06, we're ready for departure, crosswind and on the climb if available. Mike X-ray, Charlie, the control zone climbing, cleared for takeoff.
So you can't turn off the one that you're listening to, or the one that you can broadcast on, sorry.
So I'll do this again, so I need to
Mike X-ray, leave the control zone
select the
climbing,
one that I want to
takeoff.
use, and that will deselect the other one.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Runway 06, wind variable 3 knots, occasional tailwind 3 knots, Cav OK, temperature 16, QNH 1023, on first contact Camden Tower all ground, notify receipt of Alpha.
1023.
Camden Salvation Alpha, runway 06, wind variable 3 knots, occasional tailwind 3 knots, Cav OK, temperature 16, QNH 1023, on first contact Camden Tower all ground, notify receipt of Alpha. Camden.
Okay, so we've got 3 knots, and we're using runway 06, ATIS is Alpha, occasional tailwind of 3 knots, QNH 1023. Sounds lovely for a flight today. It's last week. Alright, so I'll continue with the engine startup. So throttle 1/4 inch in, it's about there. Mixture is idle cutoff all the way out. Propeller area is cleared. I'll color clear in a moment. Master switch is on. The flashing beacon is always on. And let's do a cold start that involves the pump. I'm going to have to try all the keys. Yeah, I think this is it. Alright, so fuel pump.
Alrighty, before you do the fuel pump, we have to get a startup and taxi clearance circuits.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
yeah, so we'll turn on the avionics, and we'll do that.
Runway 06.
We can turn off the speaker as well.
Back to COM1. So frequency for ground 121.9 is already selected. Anything like that? Right. Should work, sorry.
Camden ground, Julia Bravo Charlie at the Scout hangar. Request startup and taxi for circuits and received information Alpha.
Julia Bravo Charlie, Camden ground, start approved, taxi to Holding Point Alpha, runway 06.
Start approved, taxiing to Holding Point Alpha, Julia Bravo Charlie.
Canadian takeoff. So start approved. Alright, so pump. Put in the brakes.
on. The radio's on.
Yankee downwind, full touch and go.
Continue and continue on the GPS.
Mike Whiskey Yankee.
And transponder at 3000, which is the correct number for the circuits and the control aerodrome.
Yeah.
Circuit breakers.
Whiskey Echo
So
uniform, clear touch and go.
flaps are retracted, circuit breakers are all checked. And we're good with the after start checks. So we are going to taxi now. And on the way to holding point Alpha, on the way to the run-up bay, I'm going to check for brakes and steering the instruments. I'll do that on the way there. All right. Right, we can go. I'm going to release the brakes.
Yep.
I didn't even need to put any extra power on. Going to check the brakes once we go in on the straight here.
All good.
With the brakes test. Okay, check brakes.
Yeah, and then I'll just briefly check over and check my
Yep.
brakes as well. So taking over.
Your plane.
My brakes are good, handing over.
Thank you. All right. Heels on the ground. Going to pull back on the power a little because we are also in a decline here.
Yeah.
I do need to use brakes this part of the taxiing because we're going downhill.
All stations, Action Bravo.
Going to do a full stop
Rail up to 8 knots.
right here.
Generally from the northwest through to the northeast.
All clear.
Crosswinds maximum 8, still occasional
Going
tailwind
into
3.
taxiway Charlie. The directional indicator is working.
Mike Whiskey Yankee, clear touch and go.
Flying indicator is working.
Yeah. Just turning up my intercom volume a little bit. It's
Yeah.
a little bit low.
That's your volume, right?
Correct, that's my intercom volume. This one here is yours.
Yep.
The one behind it is if you have like a phone or something connected, so it won't do anything.
Secondary.
Yeah.
All right. Temperature's coming up a little. Going to pull back on RPMs a bit more. Slowing down the brakes.
Yeah.
There's no traffic to our right into taxiway Alpha. A bit of throttle. Compass is also working.
Yep.
Pressure's good.
And Whiskey Echo uniform downwind, touch and go, and followed by an upwind departure. Whiskey Echo uniform number 1. Number 1, Whiskey Echo uniform.
So there's no wind at all. We're looking at the windsock. So I'm going to take position at the other end of the runner bay and face the runway. Okay, turning now. And come to a full stop. All right. And parking brake is on. And let's continue with the checks. Right. Okay, so before takeoff, our checks. So parking brake is on, passenger seat belts and bags secure.
Yep.
Cabin doors are locked and closed.
Yep.
Flight controls.
Mike Whiskey.
I'm just going to say full range. Elevators. Ailerons. Good. The flight controls are free and correct. Flight instruments.
Romeo Whiskey.
Alright, so I'm going to set my QNH before I
request service on arrival, receive Bravo.
1023.
Romeo Whiskey, Camden Tower, join Downwind, runway 06, maintain 1,800. Join Downwind, runway 06, maintain 1,800.
1023.
Okay, uniform depart on upwind, clear touch and go.
We still don't have temperature in the green, so I'm going to wait for that. Fuel quantity is is sufficient as we checked earlier manually.
Yep.
Mixture is
Okay,
rich.
uniform depart
So
upwind, clear touch and go.
I'm going to pull the mix back a little because we're going to be here for a while. Is that okay?
Okay.
I'm asking for your input here.
For while you're doing the run-ups?
Ah, okay. No, not yet. Because I'm just thinking we'll be here for a while doing these run-ups, but I was wondering
After
if
you've run up the engine, then you can lean it, but prior to doing your run-ups at 1800, you want it to be full reg.
Yes. I was thinking that because I'm waiting for the temperature to pick up a little.
Yeah, we'll talk about leaning when we get on the ground, because you did a weird thing while we were starting up, which we'll talk about.
Yeah. Okay.
But for now, leave it full rich, and then when you're
rich.
ready, we'll set the 1800 for the run-up.
Got it. All right. Fuel selector valve is on both.
Yeah.
So temperature has touched the green arc.
Yep,
So I
it's
think
above
it's good to
70. That's supposed to be 75. It's a mistake there, because 75 is the bottom.
Ah, okay.
If it's above 75, you can do the run-up.
So this should be 75.
Correct.
Right.
Because 75 is the bottom of the gauge there.
Okay. Type
So as long as it's indicating above that, you're good to go.
Yeah. So we're good to go.
Yep.
All right. So throttle 1800 RPM.
Yep.
I've got the brakes on. All right, 1800 RPMs, static RPMs, Magnetus, let's do, check, this is both, left, left, drop 100 RPM, both, right, 100 RPM drop, and back to both. Okay, vacuum gauge is in the green, top end of the green arc.
Yep.
Engine instruments and amp meters. Okay, so, well, 28 volts, I've got the amp, it's good, it's on the 0 exactly.
Okay.
And pressure is in the green arc, temperature is increasing. Right, initiator panel is all good, lighting up, let's check idle. So when I'm checking the idle, I don't just pull it out in one go, I do it gradually.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
the correct
good.
method? Yeah. Okay, so idle is good. So throttle is 1,000 RPM. 1,000 RPM.
Romeo Whiskey, cleared for
Throttle is good. Sorry, throttle friction lock is good as it is. Actually, I
So
might,
now at this point, if you would like, you can lean the engine a little bit.
all right. So
Because now we've done the run-ups.
Yep.
Just because, yeah, we will be here for a while, as you said. So we can lean it out slightly, just to stop it from fouling. So about probably
So,
there is pretty
yeah.
good. Yeah.
all right. That's a new thing that I picked up
Yep.
recently. Okay. So strobe lights. Yeah. I normally turn the strobe on.
That's fine, you can do it at the holding
alpha.
point.
Yeah, I just hope I don't forget then, because it's on the list here, so. But I don't want to overwork the strobe, and no, it's expensive to replace. Okay, radio, Avionics. Direct frequency for tower, we'll switch it once we depart the runner bay. We don't have navigation GPS, autopilot, or manual.
We do have a GPS,
we don't use it.
but we can just set it on the map screen and leave it like that.
Okay. Just to tell us where we are in relation to the airport, and the blue line indicates the control area, correct?
Yeah, correct.
We don't want to go out of that. Okay, manual electric trim. We don't have electric trim, but we do have manual trim, so make that there for takeoff.
The aircraft is actually equipped with electric trim. It's this one over here.
Oh.
However, it's tied to the autopilot, which is unserviceable.
All right, so these don't work right now?
No.
Okay, when something is unserviceable, it's actually disconnected. Even if you try to turn it on, it won't do anything.
Like if you have a look here, there's your autopilot breaker. It's actually got a cable tie in there to stop you from pushing it back in.
Yeah. that's the correct way to make something unserviceable. So I've known of cases where something is unserviceable but still works, and pilots just bypass the issue. Okay, takeoff safety briefing. Sorry, wing flaps. We're not going to use flap to take off. It's going to be a flapless takeoff. All right. So the takeoff safety briefing for passengers. So we're going to do our normal takeoff without flaps. If there is an issue such as temperatures.
So the takeoff safety briefing isn't for passengers, it's for yourself.
Yeah.
So you can do it out loud for me.
Good morning.
Better turn off the radio a little bit. Alright,
Okay.
so here's my safety briefing for myself. I'm going to do a normal takeoff without flaps. If I see, if during the takeoff the airspeed indicator is not alive, I don't get static RPMs, or the T's and P's are not in the green, I'm going to abort the takeoff, and I'm going to do that by pulling RPMs back to idle as required, and then exiting the runway. If I have taken off and I'm off the runway with runway remaining, I'm going to do a landing and then exit the runway. If I do a takeoff and I have taken off and there is no runway remaining and I have engine failure or other emergency, or actually take that back, I have an engine failure, I'm not going to turn back to the runway. There's going to be a no-go. I'm going to look for a sufficiently flat area within 30 degrees of my current position and land on that patch of land. I have actually noticed in the past there's quite a bit of land both on both sides here as taking off from runway 06.
Okay.
So depending on where I am at the moment, at that time, I'll be able to make a selection.
Even on upwind?
No, well, as I'm taking off, yeah, on upwind.
Okay,
yeah.
Sure.
If I have an emergency, engine emergency, downwind, then depending again on my exact position, I will be able to do a emergency glide landing. So that would require me to come back to the runway and land without the engine, do an idle land.
Okay.
A idle landing. Okay, so I think that's the safety briefing. Takeoff and safety briefing, and the departure briefing. I'll do that as well. So is this for the pilot again, or?
This one, yeah, mostly for the pilot again.
All right. So basically, this is so what this flight is going to be about is I'm going to fly circuits in this flight, and I'm going to practice a couple of regular circuits with landings, flapped landings. I'll practice 1 or 2 flapless landings, and after that, hopefully there'll be time to practice emergencies, engine failure emergency in particular, yeah.
Alrighty, so for a departure briefing, some of the things you want to include. You want to say, okay, we're going to be taking off from runway 06, meaning it's a left-hand circuit. My circuit height's 1,300 feet. We'll be rotating at 60, climbing out at 74. What are some of the threats that we have in today's flight?
Sorry, some of the
threats.
Oh, the threats.
Yeah.
Traffic.
Traffic is always a threat.
Yep.
So we've only got 2 aircraft in the circuit, so we should be able to maintain separation fairly easily. What's the wind doing?
So wind is 3 knots. We do have an occasional
Is the wind 3 knots?
3 knots.
I want you to have another listen to your ATIS.
Join right base 06.
Did I make a mistake? Let's get the ATIS again.
Yep.
Camden to formation Bravo. Runway 06. Wind variable 8 knots. Crosswind maximum 8. Occasional tailwind 3. Cav OK. Temperature 20. QNH 1023. On first contact, Camden Tower all ground. Notify receipt of Bravo.
Yep, I let that go as long as I could.
I'll do that one more.
Camden to formation Bravo. Runway 06. Wind variable 8 knots. Crosswind maximum 8. Occasional tailwind 3. Cav OK. Temperature 20. QNH 1023. On first contact, Camden Tower all ground.
Interesting. So we now also have a variable crosswind of 8 knots.
Correct. And the wind is variable at 8 knots as well.
Yeah, okay.
So what is there a high likelihood of?
So there's going to be turbulence.
Turbulence, potentially.
Yeah.
There's also a likelihood of a runway change.
Yeah. I didn't get the direction.
Yeah, so it's variable. So saying there's also a tailwind, so it's possible that it could do a 180. And we'll have to swap runway.
Right, so it could get us to swap runway as we are in the circuit.
Correct.
So start 06 and then have to actually continue part
Yeah, so it's possible that we may also have to swap runways mid-circuit.
Okay, well,
so
interesting.
that's another threat as well.
Yeah.
There's no glider activity as of yet, so the gliders aren't a threat. But yeah, so that's some of the things you've got to consider in your takeoff safety brief. That ATIS change happened as we were taxiing. He said that he changed it to Bravo. He didn't acknowledge it at all. And there was a few other people calling inbound as well. With information Bravo, so I wanted to see if you'd pick up on that.
No, I did not.
So yeah, that's alright.
It's the first time I hear about it.
That's alright. So you're going to make sure you're listening to your radio as well.
Yeah.
So at the holding point, when we make our call ready for circuits, just say in receipt of Bravo. Because the ATIS has changed since your previous call.
Yeah. Alright. Wow, departure briefing is a lot more complicated than I thought. Well, that was a safety briefing, right?
Yeah, so the takeoff safety briefing and the departure briefing, I want to talk about both of those when we go back in.
Sure, alright. Yeah.
But yeah, when you're ready, we'll release the brakes, and then we'll head out to the holding point.
Alright, release the brakes. So the QNH hasn't changed, it's still 1203.
Yep.
And the bike is set to the runway direction, so I'm not gonna do anything about that.
And the other thing before we start taxiing as well, just make sure your DI's aligned.
Yeah. It's right on 33, so... Yeah.
Romeo Whiskey, downwind.
About there.
Romeo Whiskey.
Okay, I'm good to go.
Cool.
Gonna put the mix to rich, release brakes.
Yeah, when you have a look back on your video, as we were taxiing out, pretty much as we were turning onto Charlie, was when he said that the ATIS changed to Bravo.
Wow, I totally missed that. That's the thing, like part of your brain has to be dedicated to the radio constantly.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to stop here. So I can see Alpha. Okay, mix is rich, brakes are on. We're going to switch to power.
Yeah, so you do the same call as normal, just make sure you say that you've received Bravo.
Going to turn on the nav first before I forget.
Yeah, like get yourself ready and orientated first.
Yeah. Got runway. Yeah, okay. I think I'm good. Yeah. Camden Tower, Julia Bravo Charlie at holding point Alpha, ready for takeoff with information Bravo.
Julia Bravo Charlie Tower, hold position.
Holding position, Julia Bravo Charlie.
Romeo Whiskey, clear touch and go.
Clear touch and go, Romeo Whiskey.
Bravo Charlie, line up.
Line up, Julia Bravo Charlie. So I don't have takeoff approval yet. I'm just going to line up.
Mike Whiskey Yankee, downwind for a full stop.
Mike Whiskey Yankee number 1.
Number 1, Mike Whiskey Yankee.
Just fixing the directional indicator.
Roger, Bravo Charlie, follow the Citabria on upwind, cleared for takeoff.
Following the Citabria on upwind, Julia Bravo Charlie, cleared for takeoff. Okay. Airspeed is alive, T's and P's are in the green, 40 knots, 50 knots, 60 and rotate. Just correct heading, 80 knots. I'm going to pitch up a little to get my best angle of climb. Still correct heading. Okay, it's good speed.
Mike Whiskey Yankee, clear to land.
600
Clear
feet,
land, Mike Whiskey Yankee.
700 feet. Trim. Okay, I'm going to do my left turn here. Right, center, left.
Romeo, Whiskey downwind, touch and go.
15
Romeo,
degrees.
Whiskey.
Yeah. Bit too fast, so I'm going to pitch up a little. Continue with my climb. 1,000 feet. $1,200 feet. Going to come out of the ascent now and let the speed pick up a little, trim. Speed is good, so pulling back to 2200 RPMs. Bit over, so I'm going to do my left turn, right, center, left. $1,300 feet. Just coordinated turn. $1,300 feet. About to come out of the turn now. Right. Good. Going to do my call. A bit bumpy. Julia Bravo Charlie, downwind for touch and go.
Julia Bravo Charlie.
Okay. BUMFISH brakes and encourage. Mix is rich. Fuel is sufficient. Instruments.
Mike Whiskey Yankee, taxi to park.
So in the green.
Taxi to parking, Mike Whiskey Yankee.
The switches, magnetors are on both. My heading is still good. Altitude is good. Okay, I'm about to hit the threshold, so let's go down to 1500 RPM. That's much. Speed is good
Romeo,
for
Whiskey,
10
clear
degrees
touch and
of
go.
flap.
Clear touch and go, Romeo Whiskey.
Harnesses and
Yeah, my
seatbelts
harness
are all
is secure.
good. Alright. A bit low, but okay. I'm going to do my left turn in a moment. There's a tower that I use as a landmark. Okay. Turn now.
Yep, make sure you look out before you turn.
Yep. Right. Center. Left. Yep. Going to take flap to 20.
Yep.
1500 RPM. Trim. 1500 RPM. Okay. Hold this heading. Trim. Okay, my speed is low. So I should be at 75 knots here, which is now. Okay, holding speed. Going to commence my left
Julia
turn.
Bravo Charlie, clear touch and go.
Clear touch and go, Julia Bravo Charlie. Right, right, center, left. Okay, my left turn. Speed is a bit low, so I'm going to increase the speed. 70 knots. Lining up on final. a bit high, so I'm going to reduce RPMs and extend flap. Power on idle. Speed 70 knots. I can feel the crosswind here. Very little trim. 70 knot speed. Well, yeah. Turbulence. 70 knots. RPMs on idle. Okay, I'm going to flare up now. Alright. Okay, flaps up. Full throttle. 40 knots, 50, 60. Please on the green.
Romeo, whiskey, downwind for full stop.
Good stuff. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Romeo, whiskey, number 1.
With my speed under
Number
control.
1, Romeo, whiskey.
There's some climbing. A bit too fast. $80 knots. Direction's good. Okay, speed is good. 700 feet. Direction is good. Checking for traffic. I can turn left into crosswind now. Right, center, left, turning. 15-degree turn. $1100. Going to start leveling. Okay, leveling now.
Yeah, for this one I want you to do just another standard circuit.
Okay. 1300 feet. Let the speed pick up.
whiskey, clear to land. Clear to land, Romeo, whiskey.
Okay, 2200 feet. Sorry, RPMs. Right, I'm going to do my left turn here. Right, center, left, turning into downwind. I know I'm a bit high, so I'm going to lose that 100 feet in the turn. Okay. Then leveling off. Okay, radio call. Juliet Bravo Charlie, downwind for touch and go.
Bravo, Charlie.
BUMFISH, brakes, undercarriage, fuel is, mixes fuel, mixes rich, fuel is sufficient, instruments are good, maintaining altitude, maintaining heading, going to cut RPMs down to 1800, extend flap 10, speed is appropriate, 1300 feet.
Yeah, make sure you check the speed before you extend the flap.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, cool. Because we're about 105 there. You're pretty close.
Okay, so I was, okay.
Yeah.
So it was too much, you think? By
No,
5
it wasn't
knots?
too much. It was still below 110.
Okay,
But yeah, as long as you check the speed before you did it.
no problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Just
did
from my
look at it.
perspective, it didn't look like you did.
Yeah. Okay, magnetos on both.
Yep.
And I'm going to do my turn now. Right, center, left. Yep.
Yeah, you got to do that lookout before you turn.
Yeah.
Taxi to parking,
Yeah.
Romeo,
You
whiskey.
got to be careful because you can fail a test for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, maintaining a speed. Okay, I'm going to do
Bravo,
my
Charlie, clear touch and go.
clear touch and go. Juliet Bravo Charlie. Right, my speed is good. A bit more for the turn. Let's get to 1500 RPM. Alright. Alright, actually position's good for this leg. I am losing altitude. Good. Alright, gonna extend, actually I am on 20 flap, on flap 2. So I'm gonna start my turn momentarily. Right, center and left. Can you start my left turn here? RPM as required. Clock 30. 80 knots. Okay, 70 knots. Good. Well, speed reduced to 70 knots. It's good. I can feel the crosswind here.
Yeah.
But lining up is good. 70 knots. Bit of flare.
Yeah. A little bit flat. Keep the
Yeah.
nose up.
Yeah.
Keep the nose up. Yeah, there you go.
Retract flaps. Throttle. 60 knot, rotate.
Yeah. Alrighty.
It's a
Needed
bit
a bit
rough.
more back pressure in that one.
Back pressure
Yeah,
and
that's
the
it.
flare.
Pull you back in the flare.
Right in the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right at the end, you were a little bit flat. So you needed a little bit more back pressure. And after you've touched down as well, keep the nose wheel off the ground.
So it doesn't rattle.
Yeah.
Alright, best climb, speed is good. Alright, direction is good. Climbing, looking out the window. 700 feet. I'll start turning at 800. Right. Center. Left. Turning.
On that base as well, you were a little bit slow. Speed was a little bit below 70 at some points.
On the base?
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, we'll do one more standard one with flaps.
Okay. 1200 feet. I will level off here. Actually good. Got this the altitude. Right. Let the speed build up a little. And 2200 RPM. Right here. Altitude still good. Trim. Right, left turn. Checking. Right. Center. Left. Good.
Yep, you got to start that turn onto base a bit earlier as well.
Yep.
You've been turning consistently a bit wide.
Actually this is what I'm aiming for.
You want to be over the top of the river.
Oh, right on top of it. Okay.
Yeah, if you have a look here, you're just in the zone.
Okay, so I was aiming on the right side of the river. I should be
you
aiming
want to
right
be
on top
over
of
the
it.
top of it.
Got it. Oh, on this bend, right?
Yeah, on
Okay.
this bend.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna call. Julia Bravo Charlie, downwind for touch and go.
Kilo Charlie, number 1, and the wind's increasing in strength now. Northerly at 12 knots, crossing 12 knots.
12 knots, wind increasing. Thank you, Julia Bravo Charlie. Well,
Alrighty, we'll make this one a flapless.
flapless. All right.
Yep. This will be a good experience for you.
So let's go to 1500 flapless. Don't worry about the flap.
Yep.
So I've got to add 5 knots to all my speeds.
Good morning, Cessna, Charlie Foxtrot. Yeah, Alpha holding point runway 06, ready for a cross departure on climb 1500, tracking towards the pier bridge.
So I need to lose some more
Charlie
speed.
Fox Tower, climb 1500, cleared for takeoff.
So the report that he gave us about the 12 knots, that is a variable.
Yep, still variable at 12 with a crosswind max at 12.
Okay. Crosswind max.
Yeah, I'll be helping you out. I still want you to continue the approach.
Sure. 80 knots. So I'm going to do my left turn. Check right. Center left. I'm taking this a little wider because it is flapless.
Yep, good call.
And,
Just make sure you watch your height still.
Yeah. So height is good. Speed is good. At 75, which
Yep.
is where we're supposed to be.
We're still a little bit low. Keep in mind we want to be turning onto final no lower
Alright.
than 800.
Let's add some power.
Yep, so we're going to add a little bit more power even. Because we want to keep that height no lower than 800 feet turning onto final.
So I'm going to keep this heading.
Yep,
Add a bit more power, actually.
yep. We may even need even more power and nose it down slightly to
Julia
keep the
Bravo
speed up.
Charlie, clear touch and go.
Clear, touch and go, Julia Bravo Charlie.
Stations, Camden Information Charlie is now current, wind 350 degrees, 10 knots, crosswind maximum 12, still occasional tailwind to 3.
Alrighty.
80 knots.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So we'll start to bring that throttle back now. Yep. Even more back. There we go. Nose it down a bit. Even back to idle. Yeah, we can get that rate of descent coming in.
Yep. I'm trimming as I go. If I feel pressure,
Yep,
I do
good.
trim, right?
Going to try and maintain this profile.
Yep.
So we're coming in a little bit quick, but we'll let it come in that speed because of the increased crosswind.
Yep.
It'll give us that little bit of extra control.
I'm at 80,
Yep.
85 knots
Okay,
now.
we're getting a little bit high. Cool. Bring that nose up just slightly to bleed off some airspeed. We're probably a bit too high. Alrighty, what do you reckon?
I can go around. Actually.
Yeah, let's go around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting a bit too high.
If this was an emergency, I would continue. No engine, right? But it isn't.
No, it's not. We're not simulating an emergency in that
Yes,
case. We're just doing a
right.
flapless.
Okay, I'll do the call.
Yep.
Julia Bravo Charlie going around.
Julia Bravo Charlie.
Alrighty. Wind's getting a bit too much, so we'll probably call it on the next one.
Yep.
We're starting to get 12 knots of crosswind.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
Yeah. So we'll make the next one a full stop.
Right.
We'll try another flapless. Again, I'll guide you through it a little bit. Just watch your height before turning base, as we were about 1,000 feet before we turned onto base.
Yep.
And yeah, on base we dropped down to 800 before being anywhere close to final.
Got it. Alright, gonna do my left turn here.
Yep.
Yeah. So I did check, but I didn't verbalize.
Yeah, that's fine. I saw you check.
I think I need to verbalize
You do, yes.
with an instructor.
It's good habit to verbalize it regardless.
Yes.
Yeah, just watch your height.
Oh yeah. Man, multitasking. Alright, pull down to 2200, and I'm gonna turn downwind.
Yeah.
Now. Right. Center left. So am I going to call this as a full stop?
Yeah.
Right. Julia Bravo Charlie, downwind for full stop.
Julia Bravo Charlie, cleared to land.
Clear to land, Julia Bravo Charlie. I lost my direction.
That's alright. We're maintaining it pretty well. Roll it wings up.
Yeah. Trim.
Yeah.
Alright.
And maintain that height. Cool. We're drifting a little bit to the left because of the crosswind, so we're going to widen it out to the right a little bit. Don't just rely on your DI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just look out the window.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
Alright.
So hold that drift angle about there. Bring it back to about 1800. Yeah. And now nose it up to bleed off some airspeed and maintain your height.
So to confirm, this is flapless again?
Flapless, yes. So you may need a little bit more power at this point because you don't want to lose too much speed. So about 1800, a little bit more power. Cool. And we'll keep it going.
I'm looking at those peaks right across there.
That works.
Yep.
But maintain those. Alrighty.
Turning
Now start your lookout.
right,
So right,
center.
center, and left. RPM back to 1300 before we turn. So 1300. Yeah.
1300 before turn.
Nose it up a little bit, and then now start that turn. And what that'll do is induce a bit of a descent.
Oh, yep. Now I can see the speed drops immediately.
Yeah. There we go.
To 75.
So we want it to be about 80 knots.
Yeah. Let's pick up a little.
Yeah.
Pick up a little.
Trim it out as required. And now we've got a nice rate of descent while still maintaining 80 knots.
Alright.
Cool.
Provide.
Notice how much higher we are on this one.
Yes.
Cool.
Alright.
Undercarriage mixture, fuel, instrument switches, hatches and harnesses are secure. BUMFISH complete. We'll continue the approach. So we're getting a little bit high, so let's bring that RPM back a bit more.
Looking for traffic, right, center, left. Okay,
Yeah.
taking our left turn.
Still a bit high, so we'll bring that power back to idle at this point. Nose it down to keep the speed up. Yep, not too much. About there. Yeah, power's back at idle. We'll continue the approach.
Yep, idle.
Yeah, excellent. Keep it at idle.
Yep.
Hold the drift angle initially. So about here is good. We're still tracking towards the runway of this heading. Cool.
We are a little crabbing, I
Yeah,
guess.
a little bit of a crab angle, which is
Crosswind.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want to use the crosswind technique yet. We'll use that as we flare. So keep it to this crab angle for now. Cool. Let it continue to descend. We're still a bit high. So keep the power back at idle. Yeah, because remember, for a flapless, you're coming in with flatter approach.
Yep.
Right?
Numbers are looking good on the windshield.
Good.
Very stable.
Alrighty. Start to lower that nose a little bit now, keeping it at idle.
Yep, idle. Pitching down a bit.
Yeah. Alrighty. Keep that power back at idle.
Yep.
Now start to correct for that crosswind, so a little bit of right rudder and left aileron.
Right,
Yeah.
rudder.
And then
Left
hold the flare.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
A little bit more.
Oh, nice.
There we go. A little bit of braking, keeping the nose up.
Yep, I'm pulling on the column.
Yeah.
To keep the nose up.
It's alright if we don't make this one, we can take the next one. We can even request a backtrack. Do you
No.
know how to request a backtrack?
No. If you
That's
can do
alright. So I'll do the radio for you.
Yep.
And Juliet Bravo Charlie, just request a short backtrack back to Delta.
Bravo Charlie, backtrack to Delta, taxi to parking.
Okay.
Backtrack to Delta and taxi to parking, Juliet Bravo Charlie. Cool, so from here we'll do a 180.
Yep, my plane.
Yeah, yours.
So you just say you want to backtrack, and you also need to indicate where you want to go.
Correct.
To the backtrack, so back to Delta,
Yeah.
which is okay. Yeah, this is the second time. The first time I backtracked was when I was doing the emergency failure.
Yeah, with the runway
Yeah.
failures on the runway.
But it was too overloaded.
Yeah. Fair, fair. So from here we'll go left.
Alright, so nothing to clean up here. The flaps are already out. Okay, so we had crosswinds at 12 knots, which is, I guess, above the safety threshold. Is it?
RPL 10 knots.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
the RPL is 10 knots.
Correct.
So if I had, like today, when we took off from the hangar, it was 3, then it went to 8, and then of course during the flight it was 12.
Yeah. I wouldn't have sent today based on conditions.
Right.
Even if everything was perfect, I still wouldn't have sent you because the conditions were a bit too high.
But the conditions changed while I was up. If this was like, if it was a solo flight, and you weren't in there with me.
You look at the trend of it, because ultimately you're just doing 3 circuits. So even with the 8 knots crosswind, I probably still wouldn't have sent you.
Right.
Because it was
still
variable and increasing.
Yeah. Got it.
And the risk factor is just a bit too high.
As an RPL licensee, I can fly up to 10 knots. That's what I'm trained for.
So you're not limited to 10 knots, it's a school limitation.
That's the school policy.
Yeah. So the limitation there is unless you're doing crosswind circuits, we try and limit all lessons to 10 knots. It's not a hard limitation, so it's not to say that you can't do more than 10, but it's like a recommendation.
Right.
So from here, what I'll get you to do is turn it onto the apron with the tail facing the hangar. So we'll straighten it up about here,
And then
and we'll add some power.
you're 10.
Yeah, we'll go back here because we're going on grass. And then what we'll do, we'll turn it around to the right so that our tail's facing the hangar. Makes it easier to push
So
it
we
back.
can push it back now.
Yeah.
Got it. Right.
Cool.
Alright, so let's do the checklist for the shutdown. I'm gonna watch that video from the landing a few times. The
Yeah.
last one.
The last one?
It's very
Yeah.
good. Alright, after landing, flaps are up, strobe, nav is off, beacon is on, parking brake, don't worry, electrical equipment is
Just forgot to do the after landing checks as well. We're going to make sure that's back on ground, leaving the runway.
That's where I was following.
Yeah. So it's as well as changing the radios over. So that's not on the checklist.
Right.
But that's something the runway, you're going to stop up from tower to ground.
Because I'm not on the runway anymore.
Correct. So after leaving the runway, flaps up, strobes off, switch it to ground.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so parking brake, electrical equipment is off. So
Yeah, we can turn
don't
on
have electrical equipment. Avionics, electrical equipment is different to avionics.
Yeah, electrical equipment is different. So electrical equipment is things like if you have external extra avionics and things like that, you can turn those off. But we can just turn off avionics after.
Magnetos. Check magnetos. Wait. Okay. Next up. The ignition switch is off and is on the dashboard. Master switch is off, and I'll put the control on, control lock on. Can you release the brakes?
Yep.
I have to search for the control lock. It's somewhere. I'll do that in a moment. And the fuel selector is fine on both.